All right, we're taking a break from the regular season to upload the first round of the March Madness bracket, hosted by Germ Brett, and featuring teams designed by ChatGPT. So AI optimists, eat your heart out. I'm up to bat first. It says that I'm the Pirates, but I'm not using my regular season team. And even though MontagnaMagica, my opponent, is the Monsters, as he usually is during the regular season, this is not his regular season team. We've got custom lineups, and I get a hit with Kenny straight off the bat, abusing his 8 speed and my opponent's first baseman. They're leaving the bag in order to get a quick single. Feeling good about that, as Montagna is, quite a strong opponent. The seeding for this tournament was based on people's leagues and total wins in online play, I think. So I was given quite a low seed as a little leaguer, and I'm up against a humongous leaguer in the first round. So it's going to be tough. If you followed my uploads of the Harlem Globetrotter Triple Elimination Tournament, I don't know how many times I've said that phrase at this point, Montagna made the finals of that tournament. I made it to the Final Four, but he actually got all the way to the Final Two before being eliminated by Matt95. So congrats to Montagna on that. Hoping this will be a good game. So I led off with Kenny, got a quick single. Now Brenda is up, and she's also going to single.
Let's go yellow.
Unfortunate drop from my opponent there, but given the speed at which the grounder was hit, it's kind of expected. Now we've got Ken up. So a 3-run home run to start things off would be fantastic. Instead, we end up with a pop-up. And I'm just going to take second base, knowing my opponent will not try to throw me out, because if he did, Kenny would just sprint home. Another power hitter up in Sally Dobbs, another chance at a 3-run home run. We're going to see if Montagna will give me a better pitch than that. Okay, that should be a run. We're going to run with Sally here. Yep. Oh. Well, it was a poor decision to run with Sally. As you saw, Montagna, a seasoned player, so he actually runs with his shortstop into the base path, the first and second, to prevent that strategy. But when he tries to throw it home, it goes over his catcher's head. It looks like at shortstop he has... Who does he have? It's either Molly May or Hillary Vargas.
Was that good?
Sorry, I got kind of lost in thought there. As this is not my regular team, and it's not Montagna's either, I have both of our custom rosters up on my other monitor. But it's been a while since I played this game, so I was just refamiliarizing myself. Not even that, actually. I'm gonna have to constantly be referring to them. But I led off with Kenny Lofton, and got a quick single. My opponent taking the same strategy, putting his fastest base runner up first. And he gets a double out of that grounder. As Pete is a 9 speed, that's the max. My right fielder did not have the arm to throw him out. Would have been pretty difficult. Now Kathy Wolf is up to bat, also a very fast player. We're going to have to pitch carefully to her. And Montagna, goes along with my strategy, I guess. So not the best eye from my opponent, it seems. Maybe not familiar with with Kathy. Actually, looking at Kathy's stats, she has a terrible eye. So I can't say that that was, you know, a part of my strategy to pitch ambiguously to her, knowing that about her. Okay. My right fielder repeatedly tries to catch the ball, and she's got a pretty poor arm. Unfortunately, Mike does not have the arm to get this throw out. So Maria with an inside the park home run that was very nearly out of the park to start with. Honestly, it would have been less embarrassing if my right fielder, who was either Brenda or Kristen out there, had just, like, had Conseco'd it. You know what I mean? Okay. Good stuff there from Holly. Looks like it might be one of those games. Okay, we're still getting our opponent to swing at stuff outside the zone. So, you know, taking note of that, we're going to continue, ideally. Please, Sally. Thank you. All right. Hillary Vargas, who I once had on my regular season lineup. Here's a player I'm familiar with. Hopefully we can, you know, cut my opponent off at 2 runs here. My opponent probably on power and whiffed as a result on that second pitch. I'm going to go for a low left hook here. A little too low, I would say. We get him there. Yeah, so I guess that's going to be my strategy going forward. Not that what I say here, commentating from the future, can influence my strategy from the past, but not expecting such a lack of discipline from a humongous league opponent. But I have played Montagna in plenty of like scrimmages in the past, and I've never taken even one. So even if he doesn't have the best eye, his game is probably strong in other departments. Here we've got Kristen Sullivan, who is a kind of an all-round player, I would say. Strong arm. So based on that arm strength, I should be able to determine... Oh, never mind. Both of his players with that appearance, with the, the light brown pigtails, have super strong arms. Big hit from Mike, but as with many Mike Piazza hits, not enough to leave the field. They really did him dirty when designing his character in this game. And with a quick line out from whichever batter that was, whose name I didn't even take note of, Montagna is up to bat once again. So my first 2 strikeouts resulted in a fireball and a more juice, which is just massively lucky on my part. Pretty mediocre batter at the plate for Montagna in Liz Kinghorn. I think she's got like Dante Robinson stats, so she does have speed. But she must not have a great eye if he's swinging at something like that. Honestly, even despite the embarrassing performance out there in right field, feeling pretty good at this point. Don't feel great about that, but my opponent's team is just full of speed demons. He's going to get some hits like that from time to time. He's got Pete, a 9-speed, Kathy, an 8-speed, and 3 7-speeds. Okay, I thought Mike was positioned to get... Oh, what is he doing running, dude? What am I doing overthrowing? Oh, yeah, see, my pitcher was covering first base. You can't throw to him like that. I should have just held the ball with Ken and forced Pete back to first instead of letting him get to third on the overthrow. I was saying something else, but I lost my train of thought. So this is... that was a disaster. But we do have 2 outs. And we may be able to catch our opponent, you know, striking out. Could even rely on a fireball if I get Kathy up to 2 strikes. Gonna try to jam him here. Okay, he thought that was inside. Yeah, I do go for the fireball. I think that makes sense. We have the more juice. We don't want Pete to score, Kathy to get on base, and then for his power hitters to come up. We want to keep it competitive. So here's Vicky Kawaguchi, probably the the least valuable player on my team. Kind of the equivalent, I suppose, to Ruth Prout on my opponent's team. And you can see my opponent has a... Ooh. Nice little hit there. I think that's going to... Yeah. Not going to get a double out of that as... although my opponent's second baseman was not quick enough to get the grab. He does position Pete quite well to get the ball off the hop. I'm going to take a little bit of a lead here with Kenny. Surprised that I'm going for a line drive instead of grounder. I mean, Brenda does have enough power to, like, potentially hit it out. Oh, just as I say that, I forgot that happened. That was not intentional at all. I forgot that happened. I also just touched I have a wired mic, so I just jostled the wire. Sorry if there was any weird sound on the recording. Okay, we're up 4-3 against a humongous league coach. That feels pretty good. And we're still, towards the top of my order. Kenny, my leadoff man, and Brenda, second up, have both come in to score. So now we ought to have, Ken Griffey Jr. and then I can't remember who bats cleanup. Sally. Yeah, it's Sally, I think. Looks low, and it is. That should be in the zone, but we'll let that go. We want something a little better. That's high? Mm-hmm. Yep. That's fine. Ooh. Ruth just perfectly positioned to catch that ball. She's got speed out there in right field. So let's see. My opponent's outfielders are Pete, Ruth, and I guess I can see there. That is Liz Kinghorn, also quite fast. So he's put the bulk of his speed in the outfield, perhaps expecting that I'm going to be hitting a lot of line drives. So that leaves his infield. He'll have Molly May, likely at catcher, so she'll be behind the plate. Then Hillary and Kathy, he's got at short and third. Yeah, I don't see a lot of holes in his defense. It's just Lance, really, at second base, who is kind of a stinker. Bad speed, bad eye, bad arm. So let's see. Let me look back at my main monitor. What am I doing right now exactly? It's my opponent who took the timeout, I assume, since he's currently pitching. Huh. Okay. So I could, when I come back up, you know, to pitch, I could just use the more juice on Holly, my pitcher. I don't necessarily need to try to hide her in the outfield, but perhaps, I don't know. We'll see exactly what my strategy was when I, you know, come back up to pitch. Yeah, that's gonna be a strike. I should not have switched to grounder there. I should have expected that he would try to trick me with a higher pitch, as that was what I let go for a strike earlier in the at-bat. So that was poorly handled on my part. Okay, Kristen. So this, I was fortunate enough to be gifted my regular season pitcher as part of this custom team, but now I'm pitching with somebody who's unfamiliar. Kristen Sullivan. Scrolling down here, I bet I can see that she's got 2 good hooks and not much else. Okay, and I am quick enough with my mouse to get her, you know, to get in position to get that grounder, but she flubs it. So Maria gets the first. So that's another drop. Our fielding, excuse me, has been pretty poor so far this game. We are intentionally walking Lance, as Lance has a huge bat, but not much speed to speak of. So unfortunately, we have to put Maria on second with no outs. But I really don't want to risk letting Lance hit a 2-run homer and give Montagna the lead. Holly Franklin, you know, who was my pitcher before and who I opted not to give the more juice to, is out there in left field. Hopefully she's not too much of a liability with her reduced stamina or her lack of juice. My opponent has Yvonne Carter up. Solid all-around player. Pretty good bat. So this could spell trouble. Unfortunately, ooh, what are we doing here? Ooh, and he actually does... Yeah, he actually does hit it to left field. He makes me pay for the decision to walk Lance. You could see that he was sprinting like hardcore with Lance there, as he's only a 5-speed, but he was moving super fast. I know Montagna has like a special technique for sprinting. He uses both mouse buttons and a trackpad in order to click as many times as possible, which is insane to me. I actually, when he told me that, you know, in the wake of one of our scrimmages preseason, I tried it myself and I could not get it to work. So I don't know what voodoo he's relying on. Okay, Kenny, let's see. It looks like you're in position, but he drops the ball. Guess I wasn't far back enough. And that, for some reason, that ball just gets by Sally. She was towards the tail end of her idle animation, but it seemed to me that she recovered in time to potentially catch the ball if the throw had been to her. But it just, you know, didn't snap into her glove. So another inside the park home run for my opponent. All could have been avoided if I had just positioned Kenny a little bit better. Okay, please tell me that I can get this out. Look at him sprinting. What are you sprinting for? I'm just wasting time here with Mike. I definitely remember being frustrated at this point in this game. So you'll see me do that with Mike probably a couple more times. He's going to get on base here. And I don't make the mistake of throwing to my pitcher, as that would have resulted in an out-of-play ball and Ruth advancing to second base. Thankfully, we have 2 outs here, so even though he's reached the top of his order, we have a chance to, cut things off. It's going to be in the zone, I believe. Not sure what was up with that slowdown, but, we carry on. Okay, I didn't think I was going to be able to cover first there with Mike. I figured he would just turbo sprint with Pete. So I tried to get the throw out at second, and Ken dropped the ball. We really need to limit the damage here. We need this strikeout. Unfortunate that my fireball was only a one-time use. Sometimes they go for 2 or even 3. We are really gambling here. I thought about using the more juice, and I probably should have. Oh, just an absolutely perfect pitch. Can we get this throw out? We just decide to... I don't know what was up with that auto throw to second, but we just decide to... not to, try to throw out Pete or whoever it was that was just running to first, Kathy. Another mistake on my part. It was a poorly located pitch. I should have just used the more juice during that last at bat. I suppose the reason I didn't do it is because I might have been conserving it for Holly when she came back on the mound. Okay, gonna go for something outside the zone. Yes. All right, that's an easy out for Clanky. Oy. I don't face opponents who are this good at punishing my mistakes in the Little League. I do make mistakes in those games. But Montagna, clearly a better player than any of my opponents thus far in the regular season. He knows to sprint and push runners to, for triples instead of doubles, or home runs instead of triples when I make a mistake in the outfield. Though I will say the mistakes in the outfield are not usually what get me in the regular season, as I typically draft players with strong I ratings so that they will automatically, position themselves properly underneath fly balls. All right, doesn't look like I'm going to be doing a lot of damage in this inning. So if we're going to make a comeback, it's going to have to come in, in the 5th or 6th. So Pete has a pretty poor eye out there in center field. He does have the speed to hunt down, anything in his range, but you got to aim him properly, kind of manually. It's going to be a double play. Oh, I already had 2 outs. That's right. Yeah, Mike doesn't have enough speed to, even though I gave him the lead by clicking steal on that grounder, he does not have the speed to get the second there. Is it going to be a home run? No. Holly does not get it, though, so I don't know how many. Yeah, you better turn around with Lance there, buddy. I don't know how many drops it's been at this point. That one, I feel like I played about as well as I could. But Holly still dropped it out there. Oh, that is... Okay, Kenny, come on. We make the catch! Okay, my opponent's most threatening batters have all, you know. We've gotten past them at this point. It's gonna be a ball. Yeah. Good location there. This is probably gonna be in the zone? No. Too optimistic there on my part. Can we make that little tiny correction there to give it a slightly higher chance of ending up inside the zone? Will Holly make this grab? She does. Waiting for my...
Nice play, fella.
Thank you. Waiting for my pitcher to, you know, go through their idle animation before I throw them the ball so they don't drop it. Now Molly May is up to bat. She's got a pretty big bat. We have to be careful pitching to her. She's got low speed as well, so I could walk her. But instead, we just get the ground out. If I had walked her, that would push Montagna, you know, like one batter closer to the top of his order again. And I don't think I can afford that at this point. Yeah, Holly not really recovering out there. Perhaps I should have considered giving her the more juice, like just pitching with Brenda for only a little bit and then getting Holly back on the mound, because Brenda's a better fielder than Holly. Stronger arm, better eye. Actually, looking over here at my other screen, she has the exact same arm strength, but she does have a far more accurate arm, and she does have a better eye. Okay. I don't know what was up with that. It must be Kathy Wolf that my opponent has at third base if he, you know, made that play, because Kathy has a bad eye. So we've solved the mystery. Nice.
Was that good?
Yeah, you can see my opponent positions his fielder in the base path between second and third, so Vicky cannot run. That's not something I've seen any of my Little League opponents do. That's not even something that I do. Oh yeah. Ooh, no, swing at that, please. Okay. A big hit, and I think we bank. Oh no. I think my opponent could have actually thrown to second there and gotten Kenny out and then put Vicky in a pickle. So a mistake, perhaps. A rare mistake for my opponent. Well, I mean, to be not exactly rare, he has made some fielding-related blunders. Not a lot of drops, though. That's something I'm suffering from. Very nice pitch from Maria there. Don't know that I need to be messing around with stealing when I've got Ken up at the plate, as my goal here is, you know, a homer.
Let's go yellow.
We do not get the homer, but we do get a nice double. Ken can take second for free, as my opponent's not going to try to throw him out and risk my third base my third baseman coming home. Another very nice pitch from Maria there. So it's tricky because he can get me with the low pitches and he can also get me with the high ones. He saw that in Sally's previous at-bat when she struck out. It's going to be a ball. So Maria, I guess, suffering from a lack of juice here. Can't locate her pitches the way she wants to. Okay, that's going to be a run.
Yay, good, very good.
Oh! It's going to be 2 runs. I was thinking that I would just get to advance my third base runner after the catch was made. But instead, we bring it to within 1 run on my opponent's fielding error. Oh. Oh! Okay, and we tie the game on another botched throw. So the errors that are affecting Montagna are like throwing related and I guess positioning related, whereas my kids are dropping the ball. And I've also thrown to the pitcher covering a base once, which was pretty big mistake. So we're both hitting pretty well and making some pretty big fielding errors, I would say. Okay, thank goodness that's foul. Who do I have up at the plate here? This is Kristen. Decent bat, but doesn't have home run power. Wrong stance there. I do correctly spot that pitch is going to be inside the zone, which I'm pretty happy about. But I had the wrong stance. Needed to keep it squared there. Okay. We're at the bottom of my opponent's order, so I feel... Ooh, I don't think I should be bringing in the infield, though. Don't like that decision. Mike, why are you so slow? Maybe what I should do when I'm auto fielding balls is like just back up, have my fielder run away. Oh no. Have my fielder run away from the ball and just like let it come to them so I can react to any bounces. This is, I mean, both of those should be outs if I, not that I deserve to get those batters out, but if I were, more skilled, if I were better at manually fielding, they could be outs. Instead, my opponent has runners on first and second with no outs and the top of his order up. So another disastrous inning here. Hopefully Kenny's going to make this grab. No, I did not position him correctly. So that's on me. I mean, Kenny's a great center fielder. He's got the speed. He has a decent arm. Better than decent. But his eye rating is just average. So he's not the sort of player you can just use an auto fielding base click to get grabs with, as I am, discovering. Bases loaded, no outs. Super speedy player with a decent bat up for my opponent. This is a catastrophe. Try and get some strikeouts here, though. There's one, and if I get a fireball here, that's what I have to pray for. Then perhaps we can navigate the rest of this inning. Okay, we get the next best thing, a more juice. Can't be unhappy about that. Oh my goodness, what is he doing? Yeah, that didn't really make sense to waste Ruth's stamina there by sending her and then turning her around. I'm going to be honest, walking in Lance is not a bad decision here. He has major, like, Grand Slam potential. So walking in a run is not outrageous. I was hoping for like a pixel perfect pitch there. And we go for a spitball. Unfortunately, he fouls it off. So what a spitball, the mechanics of a spitball is that it randomizes the launch angle. So he's assuredly hitting for power here. Oh, big miscue on my part, throwing to the pitcher there with Mike, rather than throwing to the catcher to hold Pete at third. Thankfully, I was not punished for that, but that was another mistake on my end. All right, Vicky. 100 eye. 100 coordination. 100% chance to drop the ball. I've actually never seen Vicky drop it like that in the outfield. Usually she just locates herself perfectly underneath the pitch and catches it no problem. I mean, she is only a 2 height, but still, she's got those, incredible stats for, getting herself underneath pop-ups, and she botches it there. Montagna running away with his game. Mike just going to take a quick trip to the outfield in shame. If he can get a home run here, though, he won't have to hang his head. I'll, be proud of him for that. I mean, and this is Parks Department field number 2. Even though he doesn't have one of the most powerful bats in the game, he's got enough power that he can send it over the fence. And this is a nice pitch to try it on. Strike that, actually. I thought it was going to be more towards the corner rather than low. Whoa! Oh, Mike. Another pitch, another hit, rather, with some power behind it, but not quite enough. Story of his life. In this game, at least, he's, as a pro, I think he was a little better at hitting bombs. My swing was a little late there. Okay. A lucky bounce for me, and it gets past Ruth. It's something. Yeah, and I try to advance. Needing, thinking that I would need every possible advantage that I could get. Don't regret that decision at all. Of course, I didn't have enough stamina. Holly's been drained this entire game, even though I took her off the mound pretty early. Once I threw that fireball, it was kind of over for her. And I'm hoping, here, I remember doing this, hoping for a foul, and to end the game on a foul bunt. All right. I got clobbered. I mean, the final score makes it look like a pretty good game, and I suppose it was, but, my mistakes and my drops, some of which were my fault and some were not, really cost me, I felt as though I got beaten by a lot more than I really did. So I make an exit in the first round of the March Madness bracket, which is currently ongoing. I think they've reached like the Elite 8 at this point, and I have to assume it's mostly, the big name Humongous League and top tier junior league coaches who are still left. If there are any, if any little leaguers are listening to this and they have actually made it that far in the tournament, then huge congratulations to you. That would be great to put the little league on the map. But I make a first round exit here. I feel okay about it. I was a little demoralized after the way that this game played out. But given that I performed pretty well in the triple elimination tournament, and I'm still undefeated in the regular season, I really, shouldn't complain. All right, so that's it. Next time I upload on this channel, I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be my Week 11 game versus Kurisu, the Phillies, as he plays every season. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.